Well, in the third part of Chapter 6, we're going to look at credit cards and also store promotions that companies will use to try and draw you into their store, and then secondly, make a deal sound really good so that you'll buy whatever it is they want to sell you and make you feel like you got a good deal. So the first thing we need to look at is credit cards, and here's an example. John gets a cash advance of $500 and he charges on his credit card, and this appears on his statement as of January 27th, but he doesn't pay off the amount. So credit card, you get credit, you're supposed to pay it off. He doesn't. And the next statement's issued on February 27th, and the company charges an 18% interest rate for overdue balance on the credit card. In this case, that $500. So we got to figure out the interest that he was charged from that cash advance that he did on January 12th. The statement came out on the 27th. So first we got to figure out how much time went by. So from the 12th of January to the 27th of February is 47 days. And when you look at a credit card, you're charged per day. So you got your principal amount, $500, times the 18% divided by a number of days per year, and then multiplied by the number of days. And you can see that's about $11.59, which really doesn't sound like the end of the world, but it's still money that was yours is now taken away simply because you chose not to pay on time. Another example here, a little bit different interest rate of 19.5% per year from this credit card company. And she uses her money to buy a stove at over $2,100. Previously had no balance, so it was at zero. Her next statement's dated September 30th, and she decides to pay the minimum amount. So on your statement, you'll always have that minimum amount, which is 5%. To figure that out, you take the balance, multiply it by 5%, and we get that amount. So that's how much she pays so that she can kind of satisfy the company and doesn't have to pay any more that month. Well, in October, Jane buys something else for $450. The question now will be on her next statement, how much is she going to have to pay? Well, once you take off the $105 from the $2,100, so that was the minimum payment, her new balance was $1,995.34. Because that was a portion that wasn't paid off, you get charged interest on it. So your balance times the interest rate divided by 365 times the number of days that you're late, and ends up $7.46 of interest. Plus, she ends up spending $450 more, and that ends up being 3 days before the statement. And divide that by 365, and it's another 72 cents. So her original balance plus the interest on what she didn't pay before, plus the interest on anything new that she bought, gets a balance of $2,003.52. That's just the interest. Plus, you'd have to consider the $450 total. So basically what you need to know is credit card companies make their money off you when you're late with payments. Here's a look at a credit card statement. This one is from the fictitious Northwest Bank of Canada, which doesn't exist, but for our purposes we're going to look at it. When you have a credit card statement, there are a few key things. I'm just trying to get the highlighter here. Give me a second. Where are we? Oh boy. Sorry about this. There we go. Okay. So when we look at our credit card statement, you'll see the new balance. That's how much you owe. You'll also see that you have a minimum payment, which is 5% of that in this case. That's how much you have to pay. The previous balance is what it was last month. This is how much you paid last month. This purchases matches your new balance because you got it back to zero because you made your payment. And you can see above here are all the things that you bought during that statement. You need to be able to read a credit card statement and understand what it tells you, and then what you can do from that. Something I haven't talked about yet is credit limit. Your credit card company will say, well, here's the maximum you can spend that we trust you that you're going to pay back. And as you buy things, that goes down because of the amount you bought. So if you took 500 and subtract the new balance, that's what you would end up with. And you should be able to analyze this and come up with all the information that you need. So the second type of question we're looking at is deals that you see from stores. And this one is a furniture store, and Mai Jung wants to buy a sofa. And if she pays, it's going to cost $899.99, no delivery charge, or she can choose one of two other options. So you can not pay right now. Deferred payment means pay later, but you're going to get charged $30 for delivery and a $75 administration fee, and you can pay that off over 2 years. So essentially, you're paying about $100 more, $105 more, but you're paying it over 2 years. Is it worth it? Another option is use the credit card at the original price. Wouldn't have to pay delivery or administration, but there would be an interest rate of 21% per year, and she expects it'll take her 31 days to pay it off. So which one would be the better deal? If you don't have the money right now, what are you going to do? And you'll see all kinds of options when you go shopping. You'll see it on commercials for vehicles, 0% financing, OAC, on approved credit. You have to make the best decision for your situation, and I always say, if you don't have the money, maybe you don't really need it, with the exception possibly being a vehicle or a house where you have a mortgage and you're going to pay it for a long time. But if it's not a necessity, you have to really consider that. So here's your assignment. Keep your definitions up to date. And as always the case, make sure you're asking when you don't understand, and I will be glad to help you. That's it.